Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the TMZ Podcast. I'm Charlie Cotton, and today joining me is lawyer Lothario Derek Kaufman.
Have you been putting these together? He's like, I need some more L words last night to rhyme with lawyer.
It's got to be alliteration somehow.
Good alliteration.
You got a fresh new haircut. Looks good.
I did. I faded it right up, huh?
Yeah, and you've stopped dyeing it too. Like
Not as much.
Yeah,
I just lighten it. Just natural.
The greys look good on you, honestly.
I'm going Richard Gere now. It's that time in my life.
Richard Gere. We got some good stories today. The story that's been like dominating my sort of Twitter and just online is this Russell Brand story. He's accused by multiple women of rape, sexual assault, abuse, all of these different stories coming together to paint a picture of like a man who you did not want to be around if you're a woman. So we're going to talk about that. We'll also talk about Drew Barrymore and her mea culpa. She was going to bring her show back amid the writer's strike, and now she said, actually, changed my mind, all good.
She took the wrath of the WGA and she caved.
And Rosie O'Donnell's wrath too.
Rosie, we'll talk about that.
And she caved. But to begin with, Halle Berry. Halle Berry is versing Drake in this like online battle right now because Drake is using an image of Halle as the title, as the single cover image, to Slime You Out, a track off his upcoming album called For All the Dogs. So Halle said that he used this image of her at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards.
It's a famous image.
In 2012. And she's got all that green slime all over her, and she's like, her mouth is agape, like kind of laughing at the time. But he has now used this image as the art for his single, and she is pissed.
She's pissed because before he used the art, Drake reached out to her, and he didn't have to. So this image is so famous that it's a Getty image. It's an image that is owned and licensed by another entity, and so Drake already had the ability to use it, but I guess he wanted her sign off. He didn't want to sort of spring it on her, so he called her and said, hey, I'm going to use this for my new song, Slime You Out. Now, explain in the vernacular, what is sliming someone out? What is the song about? The song's sexual, right?
The song's sexual. Slime You Out is a term to describe using someone for sex.
Right. In a somewhat degrading fashion,
well,
right?
It's not making love. It's not like you like want to be with this person long term. You just, sliming them out.
And you can put together why he thinks the image of Halle Berry covered, her face, her head covered in slime would be evocative and maybe a sort of an interesting image to pair with the single. She got it too. So he calls her and says, hey, can I use this for my new song, Slime You Out? And she's like, absolutely not. I'm not going to be the object of your sort of sexual fantasy or the sexual fantasies of millions of people. And she says, no. He goes ahead and uses it anyway. And it sounds like he had the right to because Getty licensed it to him. It's an entity that licenses pictures to media and entertainers. What do you think of this move? Because if you're going to reach out, you got to live with the answer. I think Drake messed this up. He should have just used it if he was going to use it, because you reach out, you're giving Halle Berry the sense that she has the right to block it if she's not comfortable. And he was just sort of asking for giving her a notice rather than asking for permission.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a weird move.
He expected her to say yes, basically.
Yes.
When he called her, and she said no, and he was like, "Oh,
you know why he expected yes? Because
he's
Drake, and he is a huge star right now. And Halle Berry was the biggest star on the planet, but is now older and not in as many movies and so forth. And he must have thought, hey, you're going to get an association with someone hot and young and new. It's going to get you back on the map. And Halle Berry was like, I'm a legend, bro. No.
But
how about no?
It's not a positive sort of like, picture of her, especially given what the title of the single is about. Like, she does not want to be like seen as that by society. And this whole controversy is great for business for Drake.
Is it though? We think he's kind of lame. You think this is cool that he dropped this on Halle Berry's head?
Look, I listened to the single to prepare for this podcast, and I liked it.
You liked it?
Yeah.
This is the first Drake single you love now.
No, I thought it was kind of like a catchy, sexy single. It's with SZA, and SZA and Drake have been like kind of rumored to be a fling for many years now. They've dropped hints, in different tracks throughout the years that they once dated, that they have been hooking up. And so it was already going to be a big single because SZA's massive, Drake's massive. But now you throw in this Halle Berry controversy. This album comes out early next month. It's just great at
gonna blow up.
drumming up this attention.
You know, it's interesting. SZA, you said, is in it. That sort of gives the song sort of a different element to me, because if he just wrote a track about slime you out, it was an all-male, sort of heavy, misogynistic track, I could see Halle being like, hold on, pump the brakes. But if he's like, look, SZA's on the track. She's a powerful woman. She's independent. There's no sort of implication that it is me sort of degrading any women. I've got one of the strongest women right next to me singing verses as well. So maybe if Halle had paused and said, hold on, who's the track with? And if it's with SZA, maybe this is okay, because then it's done in sort of a lighthearted way.
I'm sure he would have mentioned that on the phone call when she said no. He's like, oh, but it's with SZA. You know SZA?
Right.
And girls can slime boys out too.
Yes. Ooh. Ugh.
I mean, it's not sort of like, it's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
Right. I mean, look, we're in the post-WAP, post-bongo days.
Yes.
Sexual liberation is across the board. So maybe Halle Berry, though, who's from another generation, is a little bit old-fashioned about it. And she's like, no, I'm proudly not going to allow you to slime me out. No, I don't care if your name is Drake. I sort of love the move by both of them. I think you're right. It's going to raise the profile of the song because it's getting some controversy and heat. But it also is a reminder that Halle Berry's like, I'm Halle Berry. I know you're Drake. Taylor Swift is
I'm
very
gonna say
big,
no.
but I'm huge too, and
Yeah.
I'm going to say no. So I like it from both ends. I think Drake calling her was a bit of a mistake if he wasn't going to ultimately listen to her.
Right, I know. And that's basically what Halle said too, that it's disrespectful. And what are the legalities of this? You're a lawyer. As I said at the top, Lothario lawyer. What are the legalities of this? Because yeah, it's an image of Halle, but it's not like she took that photo, and whoever pressed click on the camera owns the image.
That's right. And when Getty licenses these images, all those players who had rights to the image got some sort of compensation from Getty. So Getty, in licensing a whole book of images, had to pay for them, and then it's trying to make some money by licensing them out for money to other parties. So in some sense, Halle has been compensated for that picture in the first place. Maybe. When she was slime, she maybe got paid to go on Nickelodeon that day. In some sense, she has already been compensated and has no rights to that picture.
Even though kind of also not. Like, you know, for Drake to be using her image to sell a song 10 years later, I mean, she hasn't been compensated enough in that degree.
That's right. And it's key that it's her likeness, right? And you have a
Yes.
right to your likeness. It's called a right of publicity. And she's very famous. And there's an association now between her and that song. And she might sue and say, look, it has nothing to do with the copyright of the photo. You've got the license from Getty, but you're using my face. And that's my right of publicity. And you didn't pay me for that.
You
So
think she
if
could
she's
sue?
really hostile, she might try to sue and
Really?
say the copyright is one thing, but you've now committed a separate tort against me, like a wrong against me.
Isn't a tort like a sandwich? Like a
It's a beautiful sandwich,
Mexican
like a
sandwich?
Mexican torta with the ham and the cheese.
Yeah.
But she might say, look, you got to compensate me for the right of publicity. Forget about the copyright. You got that from Getty. So if she's really upset, and this isn't just publicity on their part, maybe she sues. She could at least send a threatening letter. She's got good lawyers, and we'll see how Drake handles it. He's been in courtrooms before. Remember, he had that mock cover of a magazine. Do you remember this?
I don't. I've
What
got
was
a
the
very
magazine? It was like Vogue or something. Yeah, and Anna Wintour got very upset. She said, you can't use the cover of Vogue for this. And so he's no stranger to drumming up a little controversy to sell some albums. So we'll see.
And controversy is the best thing. Like,
He's the best at it, too.
yes, and nothing spreads on the internet like a controversy.
It's almost like spreads like a virus. They just come up with the term, right?
Yeah, it's a pandemic right now. Russell Brand is in super, super hot water.
This is serious.
Supposedly, allegedly, for years, he was kind of hiding in plain sight, you know? He was well known and talked about his sex addiction and about, you know, how many women he used to sleep with. I think he was saying, like, I used to sleep with 80 women a month. Can you imagine that?
And he would write books about
80
it.
in a month?
Yeah, he had an autobiography, My Bookie Wook, and it's like filled with
I've read it
stories like that.
actually.
Yeah, it's filled with it.
He used to be, back in the day, he was like my favorite celebrity. Like, he was funny, he was charismatic, ladies loved him.
You're going to maybe want to keep that down from
Not
going
anymore.
forward. Yeah.
Not, like, honestly, but the past few years, like, I've been really, you know, off him. He's gone a different way. He's now kind of like a free speech libertarian.
He's sort of a Jordan Peterson podcast guy now.
Yes. Well, numerous women have come out and spoken to newspapers in England, accusing him of all sorts of things, all sorts of predatory things. Some, like, he raped a woman against a wall, supposedly, in his Hollywood apartment. Another, a girl who was 16 years old, a schoolgirl in England, said that, like, he used to send cars to pick her up from school, bring her over to his house, and, you know, I think in England...
His age of consent is
In England,
lower,
the age of consent is 16, so it's not like, you know, she's considered a minor over there, but he was over 30. She was 16. That's pretty gross. That's, grooming. And multiple other women have come forth who either worked for him or were like plucked from an audience at his shows, or this was just in his heyday around like the Forgetting Sarah Marshall days when he was in that, and it was amazing in that movie. Like, he was bigger than big, and he thought he could sleep with anyone he wanted to.
Right, and then he married Katy Perry. They had a messy sort of breakup, and now he seemed to have reformed. He's very reflective on his podcast and talks about his past sort of openly, but says he is now sort of more mature and has moved beyond that. But this is his past coming to haunt him,
Yes.
because he gets a call from the Times of London, who's going to run this huge expose report about these multiple women and all of these allegations. And instead of letting that report come out, he does something interesting. He's got a big platform himself. He tries to get ahead of it.
Yes.
And this is a move you can do. Before anyone has even heard the allegations, Russell Brand is the first voice you hear denying allegations that are forthcoming.
Well, he is claiming now that it is a coordinated attack against him by the mainstream media.
Because he's quite conservative. So he is sort of saying that the left-wing media is sort of taking him down. What do you make of that? Was it effective in terms of blunting the allegations in your mind?
I don't buy that. Like, it's like he didn't address the allegations. He addressed like the newspapers who published the allegations, like that they were all getting together, because there were several newspapers who are competitors, like on the face of it, but they all came together for this one story against Russell Brand because it's a big story. But he denied the allegations, but he didn't address them really.
And I don't know the truth of the allegations, nor do you.
No.
I mean, we'll have to see how this plays out. But my eyes always roll when I hear coordinated left-wing attack. It is just. It's annoying. We work for a media organization, so the idea of us coordinating with our competitors is crazy. I mean, has it ever happened? I don't know. I haven't worked in media my entire life, but media organizations compete with one another. The idea that they're all going to get in a room and say, let's take down Russell Brand and all write the same story is sort of nuts. I mean, the Times of London had a banger. They felt comfortable with it. They knew it would be a huge story, and they called him for comment to these allegations so that they could run the story and do their diligence. The notion that other outlets covering the story that the Times of London broke is a coordinated attack rather than just like, oh man, that's a big story, we better cover it also, which news organizations do, is nonsense.
No.
It's just nonsense. So you roll your eyes, and he's trying to blunt it so that when you hear the allegations, you're first hearing Russell saying, these are nonsense and it's part of a conspiracy against me. I don't think it's effective, but I'm curious. It's not effective on me.
I mean, I read the whole article, and it's a long article and details the accounts by these women, and also just people, even guys who worked with Russell Brand, who were aware of the sort of guy he was back then. And they're very, it seems credible to me. It'll be interesting to see if this like goes to court, or is this just like going to be bad for business for him right now, or is this going to be like a criminal offense that he gets punished for?
Well, there's those elements. There could be criminal elements. Who knows what the statutes are in the jurisdictions where this happened. This is very early on, so I don't know the criminal element of it, but I do know that he's going to become a hero to a lot of people as well, because he has sort of framed this as an attack. And so the people who are inclined to like Russell Brand and buy into this narrative that he's under assault and they're trying to cancel him are going to rush to him.
Well, they already have. You know who's defending him? Elon Musk, Tucker Carlson, and Andrew Tate. They've all come to his defense, and like you said, they are in the same pool as Russell Brand is, where mainstream media sucks. We're doing our own thing. It's free speech, and I don't know that they're the three guys you want on your side.
He'll take whatever allies he can get, though. And the thing I never understand is, why are Elon Musk and all these guys riding in on their horses? They don't know.
Yeah.
Like, none of us know.
They just hate mainstream media.
They just hate mainstream media. I'm not inclined to bury Russell Brand. If these are bunk allegations, I hope that will come out and he'll be able to restore whatever good name. I don't know what he has, but he has a name. And if they're true, then he should bear the consequences of the truth of these allegations and whatever impact it has on his career. I just don't understand the rush in either direction. Like, this is a report. He'll have a chance to defend himself. If it goes criminal, he'll certainly have a chance in his day in court. And then let's see. Like, Elon Musk, you don't need to say, like, Russell Brand is under attack until we know he's actually under attack.
Right. Drew Barrymore. Her show is back off the air. She was going to bring her Drew Barrymore talk show, back to screens amid the writer's strike. Her show was that important that we needed to get back on screens to talk to the people. Well, Rosie O'Donnell in particular took issue with this, and clapped back at her hard on social media. And I think that was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, because Drew Barrymore, after giving a tearful sort of apology video saying, look, I'm going to take ownership over this decision. I have to bring my show back. She has done like a complete 180 and now is saying, look, I'm sorry for all the harm I've caused. We're canceling the show for now.
You're saying Rosie was the straw that broke the camel's back. That straw was so bent and fractured already, because that tearful apology where she said, she didn't look like the type of person who's ready to cross a picket line. She was teared up and she was ready to snap. And now this seems to me predictable that she's gone back on her words. She botched this because Drew Barrymore's not, her brand is butterflies and honey.
Yeah,
and
I'm so happy.
She's
I'm so
happy.
nice.
Exactly. She's not tough enough to cross a picket line.
So
now,
why did she? This was the most predictable thing ever. When she announced, I'm bringing my talk show back, I have to because it's such a great show and people need my show. Like, I was like, no, Drew, this is a bad look.
I think certain people within her staff plucked her sympathy, the chords of her heart, and said, we're struggling, we're cameramen, we're grips. When your show is shut down, which is sad. And she's sort of like, maybe I can do the show in a way that doesn't offend them, but still gets you guys paid. She was trying to make everyone happy and ended up making no one happy, because now she's teased that the cameraman, hey, we're going to come back, you're going to get paid. Now she's pulled the rug out from under them to appease the WGA, which already hated her because she said she was going to cross the picket line. So this is the problem with trying to please everyone. You end up pleasing nobody.
Yes.
And you upset everybody, because now this is a disaster for Drew Barrymore. Now, who's going to stand? The talk is also gone. So they're not.
Talk's gone. Jennifer Hudson Show also,
all of these smiley daytime shows. What's still crossing the picket line?
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher
is the last one standing. And I also think that he probably savors that. And I don't think he's going to pull his show.
I think now, if he was maybe vacillating, now he's definitely going to do it, because he doesn't like to capitulate. And Drew Barrymore and Jennifer Hudson, they want to keep people happy. That's not Bill Maher's brand. Bill Maher
loves being
an
agitator. He's an agitator. So his show, he's the last scab standing. And I don't think that he is so who he is. Like, he doesn't care about you liking him or not liking him. That I think he'll lean into this. And to be honest, the ratings might, be really good.
We'll see, right? And I think he's like a proud asshole. I say that in an affectionate way. Like, that is who he is. He likes sort of taking the other side of things and arguing with people. That's what the whole show is. I think it'll probably do well. And he's trying to thread that needle. I don't think he's done it effectively. I think if you can't really say, I want to help one group of people but hurt another, because they're all working class. And when you take the writers' leverage, you're hurting the movement in some way. Now the writers have less leverage and the strike lasts longer. But I think he's got a backbone about it. I think what Drew did by saying she's going to bring back the show and then not is the worst case scenario. Either strike or come back. And I think Bill will not make the same misstep where he sort of puts a foot in to test the air and then pulls out. I don't think that's Bill's style.
This writer's strike just needs to, this has been going on forever.
Yeah.
Forever. And I guess some people like Drew are getting kind of bored at home. Like, I don't know what to do with my days.
Now we're approaching the holidays. This thing may not end until January, because this place shuts down during the holidays anyway. So what are you going to do? Ramp up in November? It's not going to happen.
But TMZ, we keep pumping stuff out. We'll always be here. We're like cockroaches. We'll survive like nuclear. We'll always be here. TMZ outlasts everyone.
We'll last survivors.
Thank you very much for joining me today, Derek.
Always good to be here.
And we'll see you guys here tomorrow. Bye.